Hello all, welcome to the shed for this week's instalment of In, On and Gone, which is entitled This Week's Reselling Flips, which is a very good title to use because it's what I do in these videos. I'll go through what I've sold during the week from my eBay shop, which is based in this lovely 4.5 by 3.5 metre shed at the bottom of my garden. This is my little commercial centre. Right, In, On and Gone 43. My name's James Smith and I run channel JR74. Please like, comment, subscribe to your heart's content. The in, I'm going to leave to the end of the video. I'm going to show you a few things that have come into the shop this week. Some that have sold. So, yeah, really they should be in next week's In, On and Gone, shouldn't they? But I'll forget that. I still want to show them to you. The on, that's easy. Just look on the link below to see what's on my shop, and the gone we will start with. So without any further ado, let's get into what has sold this week within 7 days, promoted at 2%, unless I tell you otherwise. First up was a brand that I decided to try. Haven't really tried it before to see what it was like, and it did quite well. The brand is River Island, staple on the UK high street, and you know, if you go in there now, you can't really pick up a pair of jeans for less than 25 quid. So there is a bit of scope to resell as long as the jeans are in good condition. I was able to pick these ones up. They were a pair of Dylan, I think just normal jeans. Were they slim? They're either slim fit or regular fit jeans, but I picked them up for £1.50. So there is an opportunity there for me to test out the River Island brand, and it worked. Okay, because as I said, I picked them up at £1.50, but I sold them for £9.60, including postage. And so after postage and fees, I got £5.15 back, £3.65 profit, which is a 243% markup on that £1.50 purchase. So that is a good price to purchase it at, but you know, considering, I mean, you're seeing it as well. If I would have got them for a £5, I wouldn't really have made anything. So it's those finds that are at the quite low level with River Island that you should consider. £5 for a pair of River Island jeans. I don't think you'll make anything on it. Second thing, I'm beginning to get onto the store now. Some of the things that I took off my old tumble dryer. If you look through my videos, you'll see that I do a teardown of my Bosch tumble dryer, my condenser tumble dryer that broke, and we couldn't fix it. So I took it to bits, and I'm selling the bits on eBay to see if I get any takers. And somebody has had the door. Excellent. Sold the door for 20 quid. So I don't know if you're aware now, white kitchen goods, tumble dryers, washing machines, stuff like this, they are very, very expensive. A lot more expensive than what they were a couple of years ago. I'm sure of it. And this tumble dryer that we got, this new Bosch one, was 470 quid. Well, it's now 450 quid because I sold the door for 20. So there we go. Yeah, it was the door I sold for £23.60. Okay, after fees and postage, I got £15 back. Okay, or £15.18. So yeah, okay, 470, 455. It's not 450, it's 455 for that tumble dryer now. So yeah, if you've got a screwdriver set, socket screwdriver set, whatever it is, and you are, you know, wanting to get rid, take it to bits. Take the stuff you can't sell down the tip, but keep the rest, put it on eBay. You might get something, you'll be surprised. Next up, okay, selling within the 7 days. There's only 4 things that are sold within 7 days this week. And that's my fault because I haven't really listed that much. Not really. This week I've spent, you know, sorting out the stock in the shed a little bit, doing a little bit of database work as well, just tidying things up a little bit. You have to have weeks like that sometimes. I have put stuff on, but not as much as what I normally would. It was, and this is a really, really strong brand to sell. It's Fat Face. It was one of the heavy cotton polo shirts, and this is sort of like the beach fashion, isn't it? Look, I'm no fashion expert, okay, but anybody going down the beach, t-shirt like this, okay, would be worn, or wouldn't look out of place, and sort of like the baggy short, baggy polo, beachy typey fashion stuff, okay, is certainly in for the summer. This was a Fat Face. It was a Fat Face Originals heavy cotton t-shirt, and I picked it up for £4. In a Fat Face shop, it would be about 30. So that is where the markups come. My advice to you is, in these branded shops, the sort of brands that you do see in charity shops as well, if you're in like a typical UK high street, pop into the shops and see what prices these things are going for. You'll be surprised. They're not cheap. They are a pretty penny. So this is why the reselling works, because if somebody can see that top is in good condition, they might put an offer in for it. £4, okay, and I took an offer including postage of £13.60, so I got £8.56 back, £4.56 profit, 114%. So again, over that 50 to 100 mark that I usually go for. So yeah, really pleased with that. And finally, and this one was a good sale as well, and the reason why I know it was a good sale is because it got me some really, really positive feedback. The guy that bought it said, very well packaged, and really cracking condition. Really, really pleased with my purchase. Will be looking at the shop again. So that's exactly the sort of feedback that I want. There's two things that create that. Well, three things actually. Number one, the quality of the photos. You've got to show the photos well. And really, I think the quality of the photos is driven by the quality of the product. If you've got a nice product in front of you, actually blowing the photos up to make it take the whole of the allocated area for the photograph, say if you're taking a picture of a label or part of the garment, if it's in good condition, then those sort of photos show that. Also, I always double bag, okay, whenever I post. 2 postage bags. I put it into a clear, like cellophane, see-through postage bag to start with, wrap it in that, and then drop it into a grey postage bag. This gives like total waterproofing if it's going to be sent through the post, because you never know, it might be a wet day, okay, and you don't want your product being wet. That's why I don't use like paper envelopes, because if somebody was actually taking something out and it was wet, that wouldn't be good. But this was a Sunderland of Scotland golf jacket, okay, really nice. £6.75 I paid for it, and I sold it for £18.60. £13 4 pence back, £6.29 profit then, which gives me 93%, which is in the upper end of my target range. So again, pleased with that too. So these 4 sales have been quite strong. One of them I didn't pay. The Bosch condenser dryer door, I'm putting that down as a 0 payment because but I'm not going to include it in the figures that I'm about to give you. So really, if you take the Bosch condenser dryer door out, really it's only 3 products. And for those 3 products, I paid £12.25 in total and got £26.75 back, okay, which is £14.50 profit, which is 150%. So again, that's nearly £5 per item, nearly, okay. Say it's £14.50, so it's just 50p below £5 per item. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. I'm really pleased with that, because if you can see the sort of stuff that I'm selling, it's clothing predominantly, and like shoes and some small electronics and stuff like that. So all in all, putting those together, if you can get £5 profit per product, then and you're selling, well, I'm between 70 and 80 things in a month. Yeah, So there's a nice little profit there that you can put towards a holiday or stick into an ISA. But that 70 to 80 is beginning to grow, okay, year upon year. So yeah, pleased. I'm feeling that I'm always saying that I'm pleased with sales all the time. But I am. It's good. And I think this is from experience. I've been doing this now for a couple of years, so I now know what to leave behind. I'm beginning to learn about what sells well, what doesn't sell well, and I am sharing that knowledge with you. That's the whole point of this channel. But you know, those 4 things that I've just told you about, I know. Well, the River Island one I didn't. The Bosch was, you know, that's out there and hopefully somebody will take it. That was a bit of a punt and it worked. But the other 2, the Sunderland of Scotland and the Fat Face, I know from previous sales that they are strong selling brands. So, you know, they've done well. Right. So what is it? I'm going to mention now another 4 things that I've sold this week that took longer than a week to sell, but I do feel need to be mentioned, either for negative or positive reasons. All of them made a profit. And the first thing I'm going to mention is a Craghopper's Solar Shield check shirt. Now, I steer clear of shirts now. I don't really sell them. Okay, as I said, I'm giving you advice about what to sell, what not to sell. Men's shirts, unless there is a very, very strong brand on them, maybe Lacoste or something like that, don't really sell that well. This one was a hiking shirt, and we are just coming into the start of the hiking season. So that is really why this sold now, but it has been on my shop for quite some time. Craghopper's, though, is a very, very strong brand to sell, especially in the trousers. Not so much in the jumpers and the tops, even though they do shift and they do take a little bit longer. The trousers shift quite quickly, especially at this time of year. We are in like the spring. It's late March. So yeah, we're in the springtime at the moment. Maybe in the background you can hear the birds tweeting outside. It is a nice sound, isn't it? I do like a bit of bird song in the morning. Makes you feel alive. So this Craghopper shirt I got for £4.50 and sold it for £14.10. That gave me £8.98 profit with, sorry, £8.98 back after fees and postage, £4.48 profit, which is 99%. So nearly the 100, but well within that range. Okay, next up, I'm always going on about Marks and Spencer's and Marks and Spencer's trousers, and you know, especially like the wool or the wool blend trousers, they usually sell quite well. There's also another UK shop where its products sell very, very well, and that is John Lewis. John Lewis stuff sells too, especially, again, using exactly the same analogy. Wool or wool blend trousers sell very, very well. These were a nice pair of navy ones, 40 regular. I got them for £3 and sold them for £10 and 10 pence. £5.57 back after fees, £2.57 profit, 85% markup. So yeah, again, that's good. These again, I've said it before, these trousers were from those big charity shops that you sometimes get on retail parks, where they've got, I mean, they've got literally racks of, you know, there's about 1,000 pairs of kicks in there. But if you just go through them quickly and just pick out the ones that are wool and wool blend, and like Marks or John Lewis or Maya trousers as well, all decent brands, usually they have them all for the same price. So, and like £3 is quite common. So yeah, that can get you a nice little markup. Okay, so yeah, be aware of your trouser brands. And finally, those of you that have seen some of my videos will know that I did a teardown of an old Samsung Chromebook, one that I had, that my kids used, that didn't really have much monetary value, because the charger, the end had bent and everything, and it was from the year 2012. So, you know, it was quite old. But I'm thinking to myself, yeah, maybe like the processor, that would be dated. And if there's any like RAM chips in them, they, you know, they won't really be used now, because that sort of technology is, you know, come on leaps and bounds since the time that this computer was made. But things like the speakers, things like the power charging ports, things like the cooling units, things like the screens, things like the casing, that hasn't really changed much. Not really. Maybe the like the connectors for them have changed. To be honest with you, I don't know. I'm not a computer engineer. But I was thinking to myself, there might be a little bit of markup in this. And the batteries. And I knew that the battery in it was still pretty good. So I have now this week sold the back panel for this Samsung Chromebook. And I sold that for a tenner. So overall now, that Chromebook that I have taken to bits has made me, on sales, 52 quid. So take postage off it, take eBay fees off it, you're probably looking at about 35 to 40 quid. So yeah, it has been worth doing. And so much so that I'm now going to start a bit of an experiment. I've got an older Chromebook. I'm going to buy like a middle laptop. Sorry, did I say Chromebook then? I meant laptop. I've got an older laptop, like it's a Windows laptop, because I'm going to see if this makes a difference. Because the other one was a Chromebook. Not as many people have Chromebooks as, say, like a normal Windows-based laptop. So I've got an old one. I'm going to get one from like 2015, 2016, and then I'm going to get one that's only a few years old, and going to break them all down, take them to bits, and see if selling those things actually works. And if it does, that's good, because they don't take up much storage space. So I've got here a Dell 13, Dell being a good make. Okay. And to be honest with you, this is from about the year 2010, and it looks pretty sleek. It looks pretty nice. I was quite surprised. I was expecting a little bit of a bigger one to this. The RAM chips on this apparently have gone. When you turn it on, it bleeps 4 times. That means that the RAM has gone. But really, you're not going to be able to sell RAM chips from a laptop that was from the year 2010. All right, that's not going to happen. Well, if you do, you're a very, very good salesperson. But I am going to take this to bits, okay? And I will let you know how I get on with it. Yeah, looking forward to that. Little bit of an experiment to, you know, put yourself out there a bit more. Never, ever, ever be, you know, worried about using some of the money that you make to try new things. I said 4 things, didn't I? And the last time I said, and finally, there's one that I've missed out. So I'll just come back into the shed just to do that last one. And I'm going to talk to you a pair of golf shoes. All right, these were a lovely pair of FootJoy golf shoes for women. They were a pair of FootJoy Low Pro ladies golf shoes, size 7.5. I managed to source them £7.39. Okay, this is a Vinted source. Going on Vinted and finding golf shoes, because I believe that there's a bit of a markup in golf shoes, especially if you can pick them up at a decent brand for under about £10. And I put together Vinted bundles, and that does allow you to maybe bring the price down a little bit on a lot of these things. So £7.39 I paid for them, and I sold them for £18.60. After that, £13.04 back, profit of £5.55, 76.45%. That's quite precise, isn't it? But yeah, golf shoes usually sell quite well. And my shoes trainer sales are actually going very well. I have sold quite a few over the past couple of days. So, and they were sort of like put on a couple of weeks back. So they're not really shifting within the 7 days. But I've mentioned quite recently that I am increasing the percentage promotion rate on them from 2% to 10%, because I was feeling that the trainers weren't really shifting as quickly as they could. And this shift up to 10% has had quite a big effect. People are beginning to buy their trainers now. So, yeah, it's going quite nicely. And I think next week's In On and Gone will reflect that. So what's dropped into the store this week? As I said, I haven't really dropped as much as I would normally drop into the store this week, but a couple of things have dropped in. I have mentioned quite a few times a bulk buy that I did just before Christmas of 50 pairs of shorts for £95, which sort of like put each pair of shorts at £1.90. And for that, I've already made my money back. So every single pair of shorts I sell now is for profit. But I put these on, which are like a pair of Under Armour running shorts. I put these on as women's because I Googled lens tip, and each and every person that I saw wearing these was a woman, okay, from like the promotional shots and stuff like that. So, yeah, they've gone on. Nice pair of Under Armour shorts. These went on. Nice pair of Adidas, just plain blue, pyramid logo. And I think these have already sold. Because I sourced them at £1.90, I think someone came in with an offer of £4 for this, but I can take that because I sourced it for so little. Now, you know, some of you might be thinking, no, go for the full price, but I just want to get it shifted. I want to get it gone. And part of the skill of reselling is also sourcing the price that you source it for. It isn't all about the price that you sell it for. All right. So, you know, never forget that. I also got a pair of Nautica swim shorts. These are, I tell you what, these are marked as XL. They're huge. I would, and the elastic hasn't gone in them. I would certainly put these as XXL. Sizings change between companies. They really, really do vary massively between how companies perceive what certain sizes to be. I don't know if Nautica's an American brand. Would these be XXL in the UK? I don't know, but I've put them on as the XL. And I've put the measurements on as well. Never, ever put any clothing on without the measurements. For a pair of shorts like this, I would go across the top and down the leg. 2 measurements shown. Okay. And I also put a pair of boys' Under Armour Wales rugby shorts on. Okay, so any kids going on holiday want a pair of shorts, that's for them. Any kids training in a rugby, it's for them as well. Okay, so yeah, nice pair of shorts. Also, can't go without a little bit of an M&S going on this week. A nice sort of like fleece, like quarter zips go really, really well. And again, this jumper is perfect for like sitting outside on a summer's evening, British barbecue, okay? Because there's very, very few evenings when you sit outside when it gets to like 8 or 9 o'clock where you don't need a jumper in the UK. But again, who doesn't like, you know, sitting out with a barbie, okay, with a jumper on, glass of wine, just chatting with people. Lovely, absolutely lovely. But yeah, you do need a jumper on for most evenings. So that's there. All right, hopefully that will go quick. Another thing that's gone on this week is a nice golf gilet, okay? And it is a FootJoy golf gilet, okay? And it is a women's FootJoy golf gilet, all right? There's no rips, no tears in it. It is in really, really nice condition. So these are very popular for those club golfers who have early morning starts. Like, say, if you're teeing off at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning when there's still a bit of a chill. Okay, you got the morning dew, all right, you got the sun just rising, you got the lush greenery in front of you on the first tee there. Okay, that is part of the beauty of the game. All right, it's things like that. I don't mind getting up early for views like that. But yeah, those sort of gilets are very, very popular for club golfers who play golf at this time. Okay, so yeah, I'm hoping that goes quick too. Another thing that I've put on this week is a bag, a laptop bag, okay, and it is a laptop bag, but it's quite a thick one, okay, and I would say that this can also be used for like a weekend sort of like documents, laptop documents, either or business trip or something like that, or a weekend break where documents need to be taken with you. There's two brands that I'm only really interested in for bags like this, and those brands are Antler, which this one is, and Samsonite. Okay, any other brand, unless it's like a designer fashion brand, doesn't really cut the mustard. It doesn't really have that much impact, because I think really it's because there's so many of them on eBay, that whatever you put on will just get lost in amongst all the crowd that's actually there. I mean, this one is a leather one, okay, so that gives it just that little bit more in terms of its attraction, shall we say. But yeah, so that went on this week. And last but not least, I don't really do board games, all right, but I am trying this one. This is Monopoly, and this is an Adventure Time Monopoly. I remember my kids watching this cartoon, and I picked it up for a tenner, and I checked on eBay, and they were going for about 25 quid. So I thought, yeah, all right, we'll give it a go. There's a bit of markup in that. So I put that on this week. All the bits are still there, okay? All the money's there, all the tokens are there, everything's there. So, I'll see how that does. But it doesn't take up that much room. It can just go onto a shelf. I've also got some other, can you actually, if I do that, look, yeah, there's some board games there. And I haven't actually put those on yet. I'm thinking I will take them to a car boot. I'm toying, do I take them to a car boot, or do I put them on and see if they sell in the run up to Christmas? I know that board games, from looking at videos of other resellers, I know that board games do quite well in that run up to Christmas. I know that it is a popular game, or a popular genre of sales in the run up to Christmas. So yeah, I've got that to think of. Be interesting to see how it does. Interesting. Right, that's it. That's enough of me waffling. Okay, well, it's not waffling really, is it? It's educational waffling. All right, trying to pass on the knowledge. It's really important that people do that. But for the time being, okay, we'll call it a day. My next video is going to be about the apps that I use when researching for eBay. What have I actually got on my phone and what do I use? So yeah, look out for that one, which is going to be I normally release like my weekly videos around about Thursday, Friday, depending on when I've actually completed them. But it's been a pleasure. Okay, here's to In On and Gone 44. Okay, have a nice week, and I'll see you next week. All right, but for the time being, this is Smithy out. Bye-bye.